Yeah, 모두 다 빨리 박수 쳐 기다리지 말고 서둘러 Reason that I'm back is to feed you raps I see that you up here below So fly
All right, welcome. Going to talk a little Bronny James with the Korean co-sale, Steve Kim. Bronny James, Steve, has entered the transfer portal. He's weighing his options. He might leave USC after just 1 year, after a freshman campaign that set the world on fire, where he averaged 4.5 points per game. Bronny could enter the NBA draft. Unlikely. He could return to USC. Depending on who they hire, or he could take off. Any of this, in your opinion, a bad look for LeBron James, his father?
Yeah, to a certain degree it does. And my reaction to he could enter the NBA draft. Yeah, and I could win an Academy Award next year. Okay. All right. Or we could have a South Korean sprint champion in the upcoming Olympics in the 100 meters. You could, but it's not likely. You know, I don't think it's a great look for LeBron. I don't know if I put all of this on him, but Jason, let's go back to a discussion we had a couple of months ago. He was the guy that made a big show about going to all his games. Okay, so he's the father supporting his son. Fair enough. But there did seem to be some expectations that he put out there, not you or Jason Whitlock or anybody else. He's the one who talked about wanting his son to be a teammate in the NBA. That's on him. He's the one who made a little bit of a racket when he got moved out of a mock draft. A mock draft, by the way. And right now, I guess he's on a mock USC roster. So he put unnecessary or extra pressure on his own son. That's not on anyone else but him. So in that sense, yes, but Jason, I've never seen this much of a emphasis on a player that did not even score 5 points a game. Let's say he no longer is going to be at Heritage Hall in that fine school, the University of Southern California. It's not like they're exactly losing Harold Miner or Dwayne Cooper or Lorenzo Orr or Wayne Carlander. I mean, we're talking about a guy that averaged 5 points a game, actually less. So what are we really losing here?
Here's why I think it's a bad look for LeBron, though, because LeBron's NBA career has been defined by, I got a problem, let me leave and go someplace else. Mm-hmm. And that mindset is now dominating basketball. And so here's his son, 1 season at USC. Mm-hmm. They stick by him. He has cardiac arrest issues. He gets through the season. I know they just lost their coach, infield, but did they lose their coach or did LeBron run him out? What is going on here? Does LeBron? There's talk of what I think Musselman, the Arkansas head coach, perhaps being interested in USC and maybe a relationship with LeBron. Is this like a negotiating leverage ploy by LeBron and Bronny? Like, if you don't hire the right coach, I'm out of here, which isn't much of a threat. The guy averaged 4.5 points, but I do think it just burnishes the idea that what LeBron really represents is if you have a problem, you don't stick around and work it out. You move and you just do something different. You quit and move on. It's like my dad never got more upset with me than when I tried to quit a football team in 6th grade and when I tried to quit the Ball State football team. I'm talking about irate. It's just like, you don't quit. You stick it out, you gut it out. That whole mentality's gone. And I think LeBron, I don't think he started it, but I think he's the face of it. That you can quit anytime. That's no problem.
Jason, I wonder if he does decide to transfer, is he going to have a big made-for-TV special and hire Jim Gray? And he's going to, I want to take my talents to Chapel Hill or Columbus, Ohio. Here's the thing that's interesting. USC is right in the heart of LA. It's not a picturesque a campus as, let's say, UCLA and Westwood, but still very nice. And if I'm not mistaken, this young man has lived the last several years of his life without the harsh winters. And if you have money in your family, and I would think that they are in the upper 1%, you live a very comfortable, nice lifestyle out here. I mean, today, for instance, Jason, it's 75 degrees. It's perfect postcard weather. You get used to this. You get used to the accommodations, and the scenery, if you know what I mean by scenery, at USC in Southern California. I wonder, Jason, is there any chance that maybe Bronny is burnt out on basketball? Someone brought this up to me, that it is a job. You have incredible expectations placed upon you. You're always going to be living in the shadow. And as I said before, you've already made it further than 99% of the people that ever lace on a pair of Chuck Taylors. Maybe there's a part of them that says, you know what, I'm actually good just being a role player, developing, and just going to USC and sticking it out. Does he really want to now go to a school on the East Coast where there's actually real seasons and there's more pressure upon him? That's the question that I have. Why is Bronny doing this? Is it strictly for basketball reasons?
I think it is for basketball reasons. Not, can't dismiss your speculation here that it's good speculation, but my gut says that he's going to transfer down, that Bronny James wants to be on the court. I'd go to Loyola Marymount. There's plenty of Pepperdine. I'd go to some school in California right there and play and start and get on the court and get the ball in my hands. Look, you look at the NCAA tournament and see the Kentucky deal and how it doesn't work anymore, and that you might as well just go play anywhere. All the games are televised to some degree, and so I think going to Duke or Ohio State or North Carolina, I think that would be crazy. Going to a high mid-major, I don't think he'd lose any face for doing that. I'd go somewhere where I can be a starter for the next 3 years and then roll my dice in the NBA.
So do the old Bo Kimball, Hank Gathers. Jason, I have not uttered the words Loyola Marymount for about 30 years. We are getting old. So shout out to Jeff Fryer and Per Steamer and Terrell Lowry. I still have great memories of that Final Eight team that got blown out by UNLV in Oakland. But do you think his ego will allow him to do that, though? Again, you're LeBron James' son. You're given this status as a top 50 player, although people think he's more top 100, which is still really good. But I do wonder, given his name and the brand that they have built up, I think there's a lot of players that could go from a major like P5 conference to mid. It wouldn't be a big deal that he had extra minutes. But I just wonder in this particular situation for Bronny, going from a Pac-10 school, which will now be in one of the major conferences, because remember, they're shifting over to the Big Ten, okay, to now going to another school that's kind of, not exactly P5. I don't know if that's good for their brand, if that's even a possibility, Jason, to be honest with you.
Well, let's take a look at LeBron's statement, because I think there's some truth here. Maybe LeBron is going to let Bronny make his own decision. Let's play that LeBron James clip.
Comment on the report that Bronny potentially entering the transfer portal?
Well, I don't know where it came from, but at the end of the day, Bronny's his own man, and he has some tough decisions to make. And when he's ready to make those decisions, he'll let us all know. But as his family, we're going to support whatever he does.
I actually think LeBron's keeping it real there that, I've seen dads micromanage their sons into a hot mess. And that to me sounded like LeBron said, well, he tried things my way. He's a grown man. I'm going to let him make his own decision here. I actually believe that there's some truth to that. And I don't think it would damage him to transfer down a little bit. If Michael Jordan's son can play at Central Florida, LeBron James' son can play at Loyola Marymount or Pepperdine Jason, or San Diego State. I don't know.
There is a difference, though. Michael Jordan, for as much as he hated Jerry Krause, never said, hey, Crumbs, I want my son as a teammate. He's going to be the Black Jack Haley. He just needs to be on the roster. And that's the difference, though. Remember, and this is a question I would like to ask LeBron James or have someone do it. LeBron, do you still have visions, or is it still your wish to play NBA basketball and to be on the same roster as your son? I think that's the thing that we are missing here. There's a lot of kids of famous athletes that go to like rather nondescript, I would say non-glamorous blue blood programs. The difference is all they've ever done is like, hey, play ball. You don't need to be my teammate. We don't need to be the getter. We don't have to be Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. And I think that right there not only puts undue pressure on Bron, but whoever is the next team, and I hope it's not the Lakers next year. We could all wish, but LeBron James, let's say he still has that vision, that hope. Is he really going to tell a general manager, yeah, one of my prerequisites to coming to your franchise is that I want my son on this roster as an active player? And if, let's say that took place, and I'm just being hypothetical here, could you imagine the GM and the personnel department in that organization saying, we have to take this kid that did not average 5 points in P5 basketball? Really? Really? Okay.
Milwaukee Bucks probably did it with Giannis's brother. So it is that type of league, man. It's very scripted. Thank you, Steve. This segment was brought to you by our good friends at Good Ranchers. Fall in love with beef, chicken, and seafood all over again by subscribing at goodranchers.com. Use my promo code FEARLESS to get $150 worth of free chicken wings for a year, plus $20 off with your subscription. Thanks for watching. Don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with all of our latest content.